All right, everybody. Welcome back to the TheDABPodcast. This is Dushan
And Andrew.
There you go. Thank you for listening in. Sorry we kind of took a couple weeks off. Life has been pretty hectic for both of us. Do want to give a shout out and congratulations to my sister, the wonderful, amazing Ilinka. They just had their first baby. If you get a moment, say something to them, congratulate them, whatever you want. But I did want to mention that. Something else I actually forgot to bring up. To our international listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the one percenters.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
What is it, UK and Canada?
UK and Canada, yes. But,
move it on up
to the east side. But yeah, happy Veterans Day, everybody. And now let's talk about guns. Ooh, the Second Amendment. It's a big topic.
I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now.
It's a big topic, dude. And there's been some stuff going on. First, for anyone who doesn't know, I would like to actually let you know what the Second Amendment is. The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So, what does that mean to you, Andy?
It means a lot, bro. Like, I mean, it's just your right. It's like you should be able to own a gun to protect yourself at all times from anybody, even the government, if they decide to turn on you.
Yeah,
and nowadays
and
you can't trust the government sometimes. I don't know, based off of political views and people. I don't think things are going right. And especially now the war and everything, who knows what's going to end up happening. So I think right now is the best time to own a gun. Not just for that simple fact, but like, for instance, your household. And I'm by myself in the house with 2 females. And it used to be more people here, but I used to be the sole protector of this house. And it's just, you need to be able to protect yourself. And not saying you need a gun to protect yourself, but if that other person kicks it up a notch and you're not in the position where he's in, you're going to be found in the opposite side of not where you want to be.
Yeah, you're gonna be in a bad place.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you don't want to use it. You don't want to be put in that situation, but you also want to be prepared just in case that situation occurs.
Mm-hmm. So now there are some people who say that the Second Amendment only relates to a militia, that a militia should be armed, be able to be armed. Now, do you think that, because other people say, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, a militia is just pretty much armed civilian population to fight back against threats. Right?
So do you mean militia by like...
They're not government sanctioned. They're not run by the government. They're run by the people. So you remember a few years ago with the border wall thing, and guys were going out by themselves, like with groups of themselves.
That happened in Texas, right?
Yeah. So that's a militia.
Okay.
Right? And that's, some people say that that's what the Second Amendment is referring to. Other people say
a bunch of Batmans.
Exactly. Except Batman doesn't shoot people.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but there are other people who say that we are the militia. We always are the militia because we're here to fight back against a corrupt government if the need ever rises. Mm-hmm. Right? Which side of the camp do you think you fall on, like, as far as your interpretation of that wording?
I don't know. When you say militia, that kind of makes it sound like a gang. And it's like, I'm not too fond about gangs. I kind of feel like you have your own rights and you're your own person. You should be able to operate based off of what you feel is best. Being part of a gang, being part of a militia, why do you need other individuals?
Part of a gang, though? I mean, Americans, we act a lot like gang members, dude.
I'm not just saying based off of me. But yes, America is a bully.
Yeah.
They tend to get into things they shouldn't be part of. I mean, that could be for certain reasons we don't know. I don't have government clearance to know that.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Okay.
it's
I mean,
I mean it is the way of the United States for sure.
oh, for sure. We get up in everyone else's business,
And the
but
people that are in militias, are they um, old service members and stuff like that, or law enforcement that have their own little cliques and community of what you want to call militia, that kind of
I
feel
mean,
like they want to be still protecting and serving the United States, but they're officially not.
potentially. I think that a lot of those groups, I mean, shit, even gangs now, they have guys who come back from the military and they kind of recruit them. And those guys sometimes maybe they need like a sense of belonging or something, and so they do join, and they show what they know to these guys. I mean, dude, some of these gangs like in L.A., bro, they look like the military when they're running around. It's kind of wild to see.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, so let's approach it from this angle then. Do you think that there are types of guns that should be banned?
Well, yeah, like fucking bazookas.
No, guns like the AR-15. Everyone keeps talking about the
No,
AR-15 in
no.
the news, like stuff like
Well,
that.
I mean, AR-15s, um, they are semi-banned already, at least in California. I
Yeah,
don't
in
know about
California.
in like Tennessee or so on and so forth, or Louisiana or wherever else. Where else are they pro guns?
I think the two states that are the most strict with guns are California and New York.
Okay, well, in California, they have a magazine cap
Yeah,
of 10, and then you can't have
can't be fully automatic.
and then you also can't um, what is it? Upgrade the trigger.
I think the Supreme Court just overturned that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one with the magazines and the one with the
Well, also
stocks and the one with the triggers. I
the
think they just
stocks,
yeah
they have a little fan that goes against your palm, so you can't
yeah
wrap.
it's a bump stock.
It's a bump stock. Yeah, you can't wrap your arm around it anymore,
Yeah,
or your hand around it
the
anymore.
Supreme Court just banned that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so now you can do it again, even here in California. So the Supreme Court found, or the federal court found that those bans were unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So they did that. So you pretty much think that most firearms just should not be banned at all.
Um. I mean, let's think of it this way.
Like for me, right? Like I think that they shouldn't be outright banned, but I do support way stricter qualifications to get them because of the threat of death.
Well, then again, it's like think of a machine gun.
Yeah,
You have fucking a roll of ammunition just rolling off of it.
yeah,
And why would somebody need that? Now, AR-15, I think it's fine.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I even think it's fine to have 10, 20, 25, 30 mag. I mean, I understand there's people that are like, oh, why do you need that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the same time, if we get invaded by Russia or China or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna need that. I don't know if
Potentially, yeah.
You've shot a gun before.
Yeah,
You've been
I'm
to the
pretty
range.
good.
Yeah, you've been to the range. You put a 10-round mag in there. What, 3 seconds, 4 seconds later, you have to do the whole reload.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And at the range, you're pushing those bullets go in those magazines are not easy.
Yeah,
you have to put force.
True.
You got to, you know what I mean? So at the
Yeah,
same
it's not easy to reload a magazine.
and I think that's why they made the law is because of how quick you can do it. And then I understand school shootings and stuff like that, but I agree with you as far as the requirements to own a gun. I think there should be a little bit more involved with background, but there's only so much you could do. But at the same time, why do you need a fucking machine gun like Rambo?
True.
AR is fine. Pistols are fine. The braces, for your guns, I think those are fine. All the little attachments and knickknacks, those are fine.
See, for me, again, I think that you should have to prove that you are a responsible gun owner first. Just like we have to.
But doesn't your background tell you that?
No.
Your record?
No, I don't think so. Dude, we have a whole bunch of crazy friends, like legitimately crazy people that we know that have never been to jail or had issues with the law. Right? Yeah. But you put a gun in that person's hands and I would be worried as shit.
Yeah, for sure. You put a gun in someone, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not safe right now.
Exactly, right? Like, there's...
Like, hey, I think it's, I think my wife's calling me. I gotta go.
Yeah, right? Like, and there's just a lot of stupid people. Like, there's a lot of people who've never even handled a gun.
Oh, you have a gun? Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah, right, for sure. But for me, like, it's again, I do think it needs to be a lot more regulated. I do say that no guns should be banned, right? If you can prove yourself a responsible gun owner, you should have a fucking Terminator gun. You remember Terminator 2 when that helicopter gun that he's standing there shooting out the window at the cop cars with? Yeah. If you're a responsible gun owner, you should be able to have that. But that being said, I think, and here's the other thing, I think every household should have a shotgun. It's by far the best home defense tool.
Well, shotguns you can just buy in like Walmart or
exactly
Big Five. Just walk in.
Yes.
Hey, is it still 18? No, they bumped that to 21.
Yeah, the age for shotguns. Okay. Yes,
I remember when it used to be 18.
Rifles in general, shotguns. You have to be 21 now.
Yeah.
But I think that every home should have a shotgun. It takes away most of the downsides of having a gun, right? It's much harder to kill yourself with a shotgun, right? Because the barrels are really long. And if you load it with birdshot, it is far less lethal than most guns. Yeah. Even normal.
Depending on the range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're gonna have to do some drywall work, but but it's a lot less lethal than a pistol or a rifle.
I was at about 6 months ago. I was at a fire what do you call it? Firing range down in Modesto, down in Turlock, and I was talking to the owner, and I was talking about guns and safety for the house and stuff like that, and he's all, you know what? A lot of people go straight to the handguns, and they go maybe to an AR, but people got to think this way. With an AR and with a handgun, especially with a handgun, you have to have accuracy on point. So you have to come to the range, you have to train, you have to get your accuracy. You gotta make sure you're holding your gun right, and you gotta test out these guns. With the shotgun, when you're for home defense, 9 times out of 10, you don't even have to shoot it.
No,
because the person that's intruding into your house,
you see a shotgun?
No, not seeing. When you hear that cough, when you hear
that, they're gone.
It's just like their soul just left their body, and their soul left the house before their reaction, before they left. And it's like that you hear that noise, you heard a rattlesnake, and you don't know where the hell it's at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, for sure. Look, it's again the perfect home defense tool, a lot less lethal, and a child can operate a shotgun, right? And
I don't know. You got to. What age child are you thinking? Because
no, I'm saying like not that they should, not that they should.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying is that a child in the house is a red flag for sure.
Yes,
having a gun in the house because you want to have it locked up.
Yeah.
Say something happens when they. Well, no. So say they get to the gun or a handgun or something like that. It might be easier to function that way, but a shotgun you have to actually use force to pump it, and a lot of kids don't have that force to use or to get that. So at a certain age, it's like.
But that's kind of a good thing, though. Like
exactly, I'm saying.
Yeah,
that means an adult can control a shotgun.
Yes.
But if a kid gets a hold of a handgun, then it's more likely that it might be an accident.
Yeah, it takes almost no pressure to pull a trigger or squeeze a trigger on a pistol.
Or if you have a rifle that you have to technically put the safety off and you have to hit the pin and everything, and you gotta function it in a certain way. If you don't have the knowledge of doing that, you don't have to shoot the gun.
Yeah, I mean,
But a handgun's easier to get access to.
I think again, every house, the government should just give a shotgun to every homeowner who wants one, right? I
Guess
think
what? We just closed escrow.
exactly.
What kind of shotgun do you want? Do you have a preference in color?
Yes, but here's the other thing. I think you should not be allowed to keep a pistol in a house if there's a child there under a certain age. That's also smart.
So you're saying, like, for instance, you don't have a kid right now, but you say you own a handgun, right?
Mhm.
Or so you own several handguns.
Mhm.
When you have that kid, you think it's right to take your guns away?
I'm not saying that you have to give up your guns. I'm saying you cannot keep it in the physical house. You have to either build a shed outside. Because a pistol as a home defense tool, I don't give a shit who you are. You're an idiot if you think a pistol is a good home defense tool.
No.
They're wildly inaccurate.
Yeah.
You are so much more
at that point
likely to hurt yourself or someone you love.
At that point, you're just going to Home Depot to get sheetrock.
Exactly. Like I don't care who you are. Pistols are not good home defense tools. You can't make an argument for it. Sorry, done. Move on.
Yeah.
So if it's a pistol, you should.
Well, if it's like a 22, then you probably don't have no kickback. But at the same time,
but it doesn't matter. It's not
the heat of the moment. The heat of the moment, and being in that tense situation. And thinking clearly, yeah, you're not shooting. You're what you're aiming for.
Exactly. So it's if you have a child under a certain age in the house, you should have to, again, build a shed, build a lockbox outside, something like that where kids are playing, because kids get into shit, but something where they can't just stumble across something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think it should be kind of like the military, right? Like you have to get the first training you get for is with long-barreled weapons, right? Shotguns, rifles. Then you move on to pistols. Then you move on to knives, right? That's the hardest training.
But not even that is that I think that the training about the whole long barrel and everything like that, I kind of feel like learning how to clean your gun also should be part of the safety training, because if you don't clean your gun and it jams or even pops on you, you're harming yourself.
Exactly.
So a lot of people don't know how to clean their guns. So and I understand there's kits and this stuff's expensive, but safety should be all around, not just for you how to properly use a gun, but also protect yourself at the same time.
Yeah. Again, you should be able to demonstrate that you can be a responsible gun owner, right? You should have to take a test just like a driving test using the actual gun, not just written, because when you get your driver's license, you have to do a driving test, right? You should have to go to a gun range, prove that you can fire accurately, maintain the weapon, maintain control, clean it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just like you do for a driving, being able to get a car, or if you do it in the military, you should be able to do it. But I think we should all have access to any kind of weapon once we prove that we can handle it. Right?
Do you think it should just be like a certain wave of testing, like the amateur testing, then you go
exactly like a driver's license? You have different classes of licenses. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, if you want to move up and you want to climb the rank, if you want to say it that way, and say you start off with a shotgun, so because obviously a shotgun is the lowest, so
because it takes no skill.
Exactly. You get a shotgun birdshot.
Yep.
So you get straight standard testing, basic.
Yeah.
Then you go to amateur. Then you go on.
Yes.
All the way moving up.
And last should be pistol.
And then you get your expert license, and then at that point you trained and you got basically certification.
Yeah. Now you should have access to everything.
Now when you get to that point, right? Do you think that it should be like an every 6-month requirement to touch up on your training? Or and how do you do that with the psych evaluation of people going and shooting up schools? Because the people who go up and shoot up schools, sometimes they're perfectly normal people, or people that just something flipped the switch out of nowhere and it just motivated them to go do it. You know what I mean?
But the vast majority of them are on some type of mental medication for something mental. The vast majority of school shooters are on some type of Ritalin, anti-anxiety medication. You know what I mean? Like, I do think that your mental stability should be a small part of it in a way. And I do think that you should have to be able to prove maybe not every 6 months, but like let's say every 5 years, that you still can operate a weapon efficiently and do kind of like your driving test, right? Like every 10 years you have to do another test.
This is a big curiosity question from my part.
Mm-hmm.
Say you do have to say they do find you
Mm-hmm.
not capable or up to par to the standards of having a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But the Second Amendment still says you have the right to bear arms.
Mm-hmm.
But then now you're not passing those qualifications. How do they take their guns from you? Or how did they take your guns from you? And how do you feel about that?
So
that's a tough cookie.
I still think that you should have the ability to defend yourself, but I don't think that you should have access to more deadlier kind of weapons. So
then maybe
you could still have like a shotgun, and the only ammo you can buy is birdshot.
Okay, so you're basically saying you climb the rank to expert, then whatever you do or whatever happens throughout your life, you fall down the rank.
Not that you fall, but exactly wherever you are in your life.
So say you do fall down in qualifications. Do they take your guns, or do they just say you can't buy any more? You already have the guns. So say you have a mental breakdown or so on and so forth, and you are thinking some crazy shit. Now you can't buy anything else, but you already have shit. Then you go out and you go to a school and you fucking light up a school.
There is a way to do it, right? Like let's say you already have the guns. Maybe they could do something like as soon as you step out of your house, like each of your guns has to have a device attached to it where it can only be fired inside of your house or at the gun range.
And that's
you know what I mean? Like there's ways around it.
Well, that's still beating around the bush of taking away your rights, because your rights are not fully given to you. Because now your rights are being controlled. And that's United States. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but obviously at that point, it's if you're mentally unfit to have a weapon, right? Just like if you're mentally unfit to drive. Those people, it sucks to say out loud, but those people should have that right taken away.
Well, that does
because
happen.
you present more of a risk to society.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yes,
like when you have a driver's license, and that's how I got this question going on, is because when you do have a driver's license, you get to a certain age, the government does say, "Hey,
you can't drive
anymore because it's not safe."
Yes, if you're in an accident and you lose both your hands, right, you're not gonna be able to drive anymore.
Not even that. Even it could just be like, with age of body declining, it can be
vision declining, whatever declining. It is.
Yeah, exactly. You have to pass an eye test. That's why when you go to DMV, they ask you to look at those stupid letters and shit.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, lady, I'm fucking 34 years old. I know what a fucking E looks like.
Yeah, but yeah, I like I said, we shouldn't lose access to these things, but you should be able to prove that you're responsible enough to keep your access to it. Like. Yeah. They're just, this isn't muskets anymore where it takes literally minutes between shots.
Yeah.
This is, you put a magazine in, right? And you got 12, 15, sometimes more, depending on the state you live in, rounds to fire.
Yeah. Now, what about guns in schools?
So that's a good question. So let me ask you this first. What are your thoughts about it? Should teachers have guns?
Yeah, you know what? We went to Milpitas High School, and they used to have a police officer on campus. And I was talking to a coworker about this, and I had my views on it. He had his views on it, but I don't think teachers should have guns, because sometimes teachers. I used to get on my teachers' nerves, and I used to test their patience a lot. Just to see how far I can get. And like in 6th grade, me and a couple of friends made our teacher cry.
Yeah.
And it was bad. I was a bad kid back then. But I'm talking about in high school. I used to
and you do that to her on the wrong day.
Well,
you're gonna have a couple little holes in you.
We found out that she was a little sensitive, because she was an asshole teacher for sure. She was strict. I wouldn't say asshole. I'll take that back. She was a strict teacher. But we did find out that her dad passed away the weekend before, and nobody knew that as kids going to school.
Yeah.
And we were just being normal because she was being
normal little assholes.
Yeah, because she was being super strict when we're only 6th graders, and like it was crazy. But anyways, There's some teachers that I don't think that should be able to, but as far as a cop, I do think that a cop should be on campus with the firearm, if not one, a few at each school, depending on how big the school is. So, for instance, events. When you host events, you have to have security or a cop presence based off of the amount of people you're going to have. And I think that high schools, schools, and stuff like in general should run that way also. So, say in high school, how many kids do you have? About maybe 800?
No, way more than that now.
Milpitas High School, what do you think? What would you say?
We had like a couple thousand students.
Couple thousand?
Yeah.
So say 2,000-3,000?
Yeah.
So then whatever that amounts, that's exactly how many cop presence should be there. But
Okay.
I was talking to a coworker, and he said that he went to school in San Jose, and he said that the cops at his school would teach, or not teach us, would treat kids, these are just kids, like they were thugs in the streets. But we were at school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They might have an attitude to them and stuff like that. That's just teens. But at the same time, cops should not be treating kids like they're thugs and breaking the law. Because cops...
Like they're suspects.
Exactly. Some cops are just dialed into their job where they don't have any empathy at all towards society, and they just think that everybody's breaking the law because they're trained to look for people who are breaking the law. So the cops that are stationed at schools, I think they should have more of a open mind when it comes to kids and not just them looking at them as like thugs.
Yeah.
Because they have a gun.
There is a way around that, though. So you know that after 9/11, they started putting undercover federal marshals on most planes. Did you know that? On most flights?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because there's
Well,
no one
hasn't
allowed.
that always been a thing, though?
No, that was a 9/11 thing. And after that, most flights...
Didn't they make a movie with Tom Ford or Harrison Ford, Marshall?
U.S. Marshals?
U.S. Marshals?
I don't know if that was with...
Oh, but that's he played the president. Never mind.
But
anyways,
my point is, you could do something like that at schools. You hire people specifically who are trained to be school security undercover, so you don't hire cops. Maybe if they're no longer cops, something like that. But people trained to deal with that specific situation of a school shooter.
That's a whole different market of business,
right? Exactly. And so you're undercover. As far as anyone else thinks, you're just another school employee.
So you're saying like a teacher, but you're an undercover that's placed at school to teach kids, but you're also a trained individual to protect.
Exactly. So again, as far as the world knows, right? And if nothing ever happens at your school, no one will ever know. But if something happens, you are there.
You're a Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Kind of. You're kind of like a secret agent, right? Like, you don't want the kids knowing.
What is this, 21st Jump Street?
Right. Well, I'm saying you don't want the kids knowing that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
Right? But it's if, you have a couple teachers like that, or one teacher, or maybe just an assistant in the school principal's office, whatever it is, right? Yeah. But I think that you could do it efficiently, effectively. And if they have the training for that, where they know their job is to protect these kids, right, from an active school shooter, and that's it, I think that would get around that problem. Because I do know what you're talking about. Even what was his name? Dale, the security guard from our school, right? Daryl. He was a dick to a lot of kids, but we were also dicks to him. But still,
Daryl, he was the one who was married to the other lady, right?
Yeah, and he's the one who fell off his cart.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
But they didn't have guns.
No, because back then they weren't allowed to, but now they actually have real cops on the campuses. Yeah, but again, it makes, even when I was going to college, right? Like it makes you uneasy to see it, right? Like you don't want to think about guns and violence when you're trying to get an education. So again, if you hired undercover kind of security in that way, I think it would make people feel a lot better. That they would be able to protect the students better, right? Since no one knows, like, hey, if I shoot up this classroom, maybe I get that undercover, marshal or whatever it is, who's just going to shoot me.
Now, when it comes to militias for that type of stuff, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, same.
Like that situation that happened in Texas where that little the elementary school got shot up, and that guy saying what's taking so long. And why are you guys not going in there to help my kids? Mm-hmm. And he went in there with his own fucking gun from his house, ran over there, jumped the fence and everything, and went over there and got his kid and got him out.
Yep.
It's like,
I support that.
Things like that.
Those cops, I think, should be held accountable for that too. Yeah. Like, everyone's like, oh, do you know how hard it is to be a cop? That's what you signed up for. You signed up to protect children, and you're standing outside listening to kids and teachers get shot and slaughtered.
You know how dangerous that is, though?
Of course it's dangerous.
Say there's a shooter on, and they haven't identified him. They haven't identified him, right?
Yeah.
You get your gun and you go to the school and you jump the fence. How does anybody know you're not the shooter?
Yeah.
And they light your shit up.
Exactly.
It's dangerous.
But again, a cop who your job is to protect people. Yeah. Right? If you're not willing to protect people, it's kind of a red flag on if you should be a cop or not.
Yeah, for sure.
No, actually, that's a good point, though. Like, there are so many red flags about life, like little things, like we should all, not that we should, but we all feel a little nervous about. Like, a cop who can't protect someone is a bad thing, right? Yeah. It's kind of like,
or like you're on your way to work and you're just getting your coffee. You're waiting in line at Starbucks getting your coffee, and there's a donut shop next door, and there's like a heavy-set cop that says, yeah, you're a red flag. You're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you going to be able to run to save my life? Hell no.
I don't think, you know what? Your presence don't make me feel safe.
Exactly. It's, oh my God.
But I'll take a chocolate glaze.
And a hot coffee. No, it's, oh, dude, there are a lot of little red flags about life. And I think people just ignore them because they're trying to be polite. Like,
nowadays you can't even speak up and say whatever you want to say sometimes without getting in trouble.
Yeah, but it's like, and I'm not saying there aren't times when you shouldn't act on it, right? Like I've walked by a car and I heard the locks on someone else's car door click.
How do you feel about that, though? It happens to me too.
Yeah. I mean, well, a couple times I've been like the woman screamed.
Like they look at us like we're the red flag,
right? Yeah.
I walked into a burger place after camping. I didn't notice it. I was didn't even know what was going on. Jamie noticed it. I walked in and there was this nice family. I had 3 kids and mom and a dad. And the mom asked her son, "Do you still have your wallet?" And then she asked her other kid and stuff like that, so on and so forth. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, kind of like, I didn't give a shit. I was
got all protective.
Like, I'm gonna get a double Western. I don't know, maybe some onion rings, or should I get fries? I don't know, right? And I'm just zoned in and not even paying attention, and Jamie was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm eating. What's up?" She's like, "You didn't see what happened, huh?" And I was like, "No." And then she told me, I was like, "Oh shit, I was a red flag."
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, when it happened to me, the most extreme time that I can remember, I was walking back to my car, and I'm driving this nice new Mercedes-Benz, right? But I'm walking in jeans and a big black hoodie, right? And I had the hood over my head because it was a little cold, right? So I'm walking to the car and
just mobbing,
kind of, but I was just trying to go to my car, and this woman locks her car doors and just starts screaming. And so I pulled up my key and I unlocked the Mercedes and I just get in my car. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it makes you kind of feel bad inside, but I do feel like there are red flags for a reason. Yeah. Right? Like, it kind of protects us in a way. Like, I won't date a girl who has hot Cheeto fingers. Right? Like, if I see you walking around with hot Cheeto dust on your fingers, that already tells me.
I still have never seen it, but once I see somebody with hot Cheeto fingers,
bro, you got to look it up. You got to look it up. Or like hot Cheeto dust on their face. like specifically hot Cheetos. Those are the crazy chicks, the chicks who are immature, who don't really care about anything. Like, that's a red flag. Or like girls with huh?
What about Takis?
Same thing. It's the same thing. The red dust. Yeah. It I think of that like when girls have thick knuckles. Bro, you build up those calluses punching things, right? So like either you beat on your last boyfriend, or you beat on your dog,
or you're a fighter,
right? Like you're gonna be a little bit violent.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, you can't take it or what? The couple podcasts ago, you're talking about how you're a big man and you could take over a woman. If
obviously I can take a punch, bro. You watched
those red flags.
Women.
Those red flags scare you?
Exactly. You watched 4 women tee off on my face while one of them bit a fucking chunk out of my arm.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not afraid of their power necessarily, but I'm just saying like that it makes me think like you're probably going to be abusive in a relationship. You know what I mean? Or you're probably going to be a psycho. It's or the people who use like things like who start off a sentence with like my friend, or like I hear my friend, I know someone's trying to swindle me.
Yeah,
you're gonna be trying to get you're gonna try to get some money out of my pocket.
My friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, damn,
not to turn it racist. Not to turn it racist.
You're trying to rob me already.
Exactly. Or even if you go the other way, people who use the term like safe space, right? Like you're way too sensitive. I don't want to do shit around you. Like
I don't know. This is kind of hard. I don't really have many red flags because I don't judge people by just their presence. I got to get to know them.
Well, so you don't like red flags?
No, I don't judge a book by its cover, really.
Oh wow, I'm adding another red flag. People who use the term "don't judge a book by its cover."
What, bro? I don't know. I'm another red flag now.
There's nothing wrong with trying to protect you. Again, you can go overboard, right? But if there's little cues that people give off in just day-to-day life that make you question it, like there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like giving them the chance to prove you wrong. I'm not saying don't, right? But there's nothing wrong with kind of building up little barriers against certain things that you perceive that could be a threat or harmful or, you know, bro, you take your kid to the playground, even though we're men,
and
right?
You know, it just happened yesterday, but it was
and a guy gets too close.
No, it was a false red flag.
What do you mean?
So, I thought it was another red flag when I thought someone was judging me.
But
we took the baby down to the mall and we went to little play park and stuff like that, and all these moms and stuff like that have their strollers and stuff. And I was standing next to a stroller, but it's where we had our stuff too. And the mom was kind of sitting on the other side of the playground, and she gets up and she walked towards me and goes to her stroller. Right away, I thought that she was reaching for her purse or something because I was too close to her. She just walks out with a water bottle.
Oh,
I thought she was judging me.
Yeah,
like I was a red flag because I was standing next to her belongings.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of situations where someone would though have grabbed their purse or.
But don't you like for instance, I don't judge people by their looks or without even knowing the person.
No.
But don't you feel like an asshole when you get it wrong?
It's like, sure.
I'm an asshole. Why'd I do that? Why'd I think that way?
I mean, sure, but I've been wrong a lot of times. Even just the way I fuck around with people. Like there was one guy, I walked into a Pasta Pomodoro with a friend, and I used to make a joke when I would go in and be like, give me all the money in the register. But I would do it with a smile on my face, right? And this one fucking time, I've done that so many times, it always got me a laugh. But this one fucking time, the kid turns out to be autistic. Yeah, that was not a fun thing to explain away. Like when the manager came over.
Wow.
So he was just like, "What?"
See, did you feel like an asshole?
At a time, I felt like an asshole for sure.
That's so funny.
Oh my god! Or like you know who gives me a huge red flag right now? Jada Pinkett Smith. She's a walking red flag, dude. I feel like she beats Will Smith.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure, dude.
There's domestic abuse in there for sure.
Oh my god, poor guy. Like,
and it's not even physical. It's
no, she beats. It's physically too.
Well, no,
physically too,
probably. But I'm talking about through the headlines and everything. Verbally beats him too.
Oh, dude,
it's crazy.
I've never like, and she does it with a smile
How
on her
face. How are you gonna treat the Fresh Prince like that?
Yes, dude. One of the nicest guys ever, right? And like,
it's like when that
she wants to see how far she can take it before he breaks.
It's like when that slap happened.
Yeah.
He was laughing, and then
I guarantee she said something, bro. She said something.
The camera turned around and said, "You just gonna let him do that?"
Yeah.
You better do that. But when we get home, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah. Right.
Nope, Daddy ain't getting a beat today. slap.
Well, because she already publicly said she approved it, him slapping him.
Yeah.
Like I think she beats him. She mentally tortures him because he's in love with her.
But let's be honest. In that same situation and scenario,
that she fucked her son's friend, dude.
I know that. It's all.
Sorry,
that's
I
red flag.
interrupted.
That's red flag for sure. But like for instance, in just a scenario, if it wasn't the settings at the award show, and another man did disrespect your wife in a way where she didn't like it, you would say some shit.
Sure.
Or you would actually do some shit, depending on the level of what he said.
Exactly.
But the reason why it looks bad is because it was on national TV. But in an everyday occurrence, if you were at a party or if you were in just a regular thing, and you came off saying something about another man's wife, be expected to be checked by that other man. If he is a man that protects his wife, or even not even check, just like goes over there and confronts him and say, "Hey man, I didn't like what you said."
That's what I thought. Like if I had watched that on TV
at the award show, it's like if it would have happened in a normal place and TMZ would have caught it, I think the reaction would have been different. People would be like, okay.
But you know what though? How much respect would you have gained for Will Smith if he, in the middle of the Oscars, starts walking down stage, walks up to him and just whispers in his ear, "I didn't appreciate that. Please don't say anything about my wife."
Okay, yeah.
I would have gained so much respect in that moment.
Yeah, that's true too.
Whereas
the way he
opposite,
handled it,
the opposite
he handled it like a thug.
Exactly.
If he would have held himself like Denzel Washington, and when his name's Chris Rock, right? Chris Rock was walking off, and you see on camera that he goes up there and he follows him, and then he pulls him aside and just so people know that he actually said something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just letting you know that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Let's not do that anymore. Like put Denzel Washington in Will Smith's
Denzel Washington's mind and Will Smith's body.
Exactly.
That would have been one of the most badass things I think we've ever seen on TV.
Equalizer 4.
Because he's telling you, like, I'm having a whole lot of self-control right now, and I'm going to respect you as a human being, but he's also letting you know, like, bring it up again and we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that, I would have been like, damn, Will Smith is a G. And you know what? I think Jada Pinkett Smith would have turned into a whole different kind of wife after that. Like, I can't beat him no more.
Yeah, it's like, Prince Harry who?
Exactly.
I'm up there.
Right? Like, or dude, how she started bringing up that Tupac was her true love, right?
Let's be honest though, I think that was true.
But you don't say that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This is all media though. It's like, I understand you're not supposed to say these things and stuff like that, but I think that they're all doing it because they were out of the tabloids and stuff like that, and the popularity and the gossip of entertainment. They're no longer in it. Like, they have a new show out called... There's a new show out called Fresh Prince.
Uh-huh.
But it has nothing to do with Will Smith.
Yep.
It's a whole new cast. It's a whole new twist.
It's not even a comedy anymore. It's a drama.
It's a drama, exactly.
So
Will Smith isn't even making movies anymore.
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith, she's been nowhere other than her alopecia incident that came up. But there's nothing out there about them. You know what I mean?
She's more famous now for bashing Will Smith than for anything she's ever done in her career. Like I said, I think she is trying to break that man, and I feel so bad for him. I feel bad for the kids. Like it's a horrible thing to see.
Yeah.
As a guy, like just this woman just do this, and Will Smith is sitting there taking it.
Will Smith, how do you not know that was a red flag when you got with her?
Dude, oh my! And you know what? I think she brought up the Tupac thing. I know, but I think she brought up the Tupac true love thing because how they caught Tupac's. They finally convicted Tupac's murder.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I don't know if he convicted him, but
maybe not convicted yet, but they found him pretty much, and he's on trial now.
You know what's crazy?
What
is that? All these years that this has happened, with the whole Tupac incident stuff like that, because 90s, 2000s, it was always like it was a big story, right? Yeah. But now that Tupac's knowing of who Tupac is by generation has been pushed back so far, where it's not so relevant anymore, and not a lot of people are talking about it because kids are now into a whole bunch of other things, stuff like that. I think in kids' minds nowadays, Mac Miller and stuff like that, people who died are relevant to them, and Tupac's irrelevant. So now it's coming up that this is happening, and to me, it's a big story because we grew up listening to Tupac, and now they're saying that P. Diddy is tied to paying, Keefe D?
Yeah, for killing him.
To killing him is wild to me.
Because
I always knew P. Diddy was fucking corrupted.
So did I. I think everyone did.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's straight up red flag.
It's like Suge Knight before he went to jail. Like exactly. Everyone knew.
Because Tupac put out at the end of his song that he was going to kill P. Diddy, he was going to kill Mobb Deep, he was going to kill Biggie, and so on and so forth. He never did it. He was never going to do it. He was just talking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't mean it in a literal "I'm going to kill you." Meant by lyrically, "I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
P. Diddy took that in a different way. Now seeing it, we all knew fucking P. Diddy had something to do with it. Yeah. Everybody knew something was tied to it because it was around the beef of Biggie and Tupac was sparking off. And I don't even think Biggie and Tupac beef started because of just them two. I think it's because P. Diddy was in the middle of it and he sparked that shit. Because he's seen a marketing play. Let's start this beef. Because 90s beef back in the day.
Oh, that was serious.
It used to be serious, yeah. But nowadays people treat beef as an opportunity to boost numbers for both parties. You know what I mean? Just like the whole kill shot with Eminem.
And with MGK and Eminem? Oh, my God.
That shit was all... Eminem, we knew he was going to destroy him.
Yep.
It was like, but he tried doing that because MGK was coming out with a new album and he was trying to get more headlines to who he is and put his name out there to get more clickbait and stuff like that. And then he ended up selling his shit.
Yep. I like how he, after Eminem killed him, MGK pretty much, he went away. Like, is he even a rapper anymore? Like,
well, he's relevant still because he's dating, what's her name?
I thought she broke up with him.
That's news to me.
Yeah,
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox, yeah. Like I said, red flag, Knuckles.
That's so funny.
No, but on that note, I think we should probably call it a day for episode 4. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Episode 5 is going to be released very, very shortly. We're kind of doing a double episode week to make up for the weeks we were off. And again, thank you everyone for listening, and have a good one.
Later.